Former member of Congress, former governor of South Dakota, and now Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem joins me. Nice to see you, Madam Secretary.
Good to see you too.
The mayor says there could be ice-free zones. What are those?
Well, what happens, it sounds like to me, he's taking all of his city property and certain businesses that may agree with him and not allowing our ICE agents to be in their parking lots, to not be in their facilities. In fact, when I was there in Chicago, some of the staging grounds, were out in the streets because of different situations that police chiefs and some of the municipal leaders have put in place. So it's really unfortunate because what they're doing every day is going after individuals who have violated our laws. They're people that have committed crimes and have hurt the American people, and we're just trying to remove them and bring them to justice.
Do you anticipate, suppose that 3 ICE agents want to go in and get a cup of coffee at a restaurant, but in Chicago, and that's it, the restaurant owner decides, I don't want ICE agents, although they are required by law to serve everybody as a... What do you expect that ICE agents be barred like that?
Well, so here's the deal, Greta. Most of the business owners support our ICE agents. They support our Border Patrol agents. But what happens is some of those business owners are feeling bullied by their local leaders. They're feeling like their local police chief, their fire departments, or their mayor won't respond to them when they need it if they don't support what this mayor is doing and what this governor is doing. So that's the dilemma that some of the folks in Chicago feel, is that they want to support our law enforcement, or they do tell them thank you when they're out on the street, but they also know that if they have a bunch of our vehicles in their parking lot, that's not going to get them very much goodwill with the local leadership.
How do these ICE agents feel? I hear stories, I read stories about how they get doxxed, people say insulting things to them, and it sounds like sort of a dangerous occupation.
I told them that when I was there just a couple days ago. I don't know what it must be like to stand there and to have these paid activists and terrorists stand there and scream in your face all day and say the things that they say, the words that they use, and saying they wish that violence on them, call them names, threaten their families. So I think they're incredibly tough. When I spoke to them, and I spent most of the day with them, they're excited to be doing their jobs. They're excited to clean up the United States. But they said for the last 4 years, they felt like they facilitated this invasion. They used to process people. They said we were cramming people into detention centers under Joe Biden, but we were doing it to get them into the country as fast as possible. We were told by the president and his administration to get them into the country as fast as possible. They go, now look at how hard it is to get these dangerous criminals out. They're so thankful they have a president that will do it.
When were you sworn in?
I was sworn in 5 days after the president.
So the 25th of January.
I think.
Since the 25th of January, how has your job changed? Or what's the biggest difference?
Well, President Trump wanted the border closed when he was sworn into office. So that was the interesting part, was even when I was nominated for the position, being prepared to be successful right away was quite an undertaking. But I would say the job has changed in the fact that, gosh, I don't know, it speeds up. We were going so hard right away and working 20 hours a day in January 25th when I was sworn in. I think it's gotten busier. Because not only that are we doing border, but we're doing all these enforcement operations. And then these terrorists watch us and they learn what we're doing as far as operations. And then they find ways to thwart that now, and they come up with new tactics. Now they're taking vehicles and slamming into our officers. Now they're purposely ramming vehicles. Now they're not just targeting us and our officers, but our families, and going after them and threatening them. Now they're putting out bounties on agents' head, $10,000 to kill people. And then I have to put protective detail around those agents. So they're getting worse and worse. And don't think for a minute, what we're doing is stopping their billion-dollar business. They're making big money.
Who's making the big money?
The cartels were, these terrorist organizations,
How do they make
these gangs.
The people send money back to them, or is it getting people in the country? Where's the money?
They were sending money back to them, but they were trafficking drugs and selling drugs in this country. They were trafficking children and human beings and doing it and making big money under Joe Biden. He was facilitating it. And we've shut that down. We've absolutely shut that down.
It seems that in the beginning the job was a border job, how to get people stop coming in. Now it seems more like a law enforcement with the drugs, the cartels. It seems like that's changed in 8 months.
It is. I think the president is upset the more and more he hears the victims' stories and sees that the press and that some of these Democratic law enforcement or Democratic leaders don't focus on victims, don't realize how people's lives are getting better when we clean up a city like Washington, D.C., or go into Memphis and places like that. So we are definitely focused on getting these bad actors out of the country. He realizes now is the time we have to save America.
People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.